news up here in Canada about, access to our big ALLS laser. I think most of us in Canada know that it has been expensive, and the ALLS people have worked hard to change that. And there's two things at play, and we're going to hear about the first big one from François Légaré. But then after that, the other advantage for us is that the DOE-funded LaserNetUS has nicely included us in Canada and the ALLS laser. And so that also brings in new ways to collaborate, both for us into the United States and for them to come up to Canada. And so we have two people going to be talking about that. So we have Chandra Brian-Curry, who is the LaserNetUS coordinator. And we have Scott Feister, who is a user, and he's on the review panel, and he's actually sort of written up how to write a really great proposal to get into LaserNetUS. So these are the same things that we're going to hear about today. And so I'm going to introduce François Légaré first. I'm not going to take much time because we want to hear what he has to say. I think most people on this call are going to know that François is in charge of the ALLS facility and is the main person responsible for bringing in this new access. So take it away, François.
Thank you very much, Donna. Yeah, so the title of my talk today is a new access policy for ALLS to build a diverse user community. So just want to mention that we have already started a few years ago, thanks to LaserNetUS and the provincial government, the Quebec government, to ease the access to the facility. So currently, we are offering 12 to 16 weeks per year paid by LaserNetUS and the funding from the Quebec government to provide free access to the users. So there's one call of proposals per year. It's an independent peer review process by LaserNetUS. And if you want to have more details, you can go on the website of this slide. Okay, so I encourage you. The deadline for submitting is somewhere in December. Chandra will discuss it today, but I encourage you to use this opportunity to access ALLS, but to access also all the facilities within the network. A few months ago, in fact, I got the email in June. It was publicly announced in August. I remember when I got the answer, I was in Finland. It's difficult to sleep in Finland in the summer because, it's like almost the entire day. I didn't sleep at all that night because I got the email at the end of the day. So we got the good news from CFI that we are funded by the Major Science Initiatives Fund for 23 to 2029. So with this funding, we got $3.4 million for 6 years. And so basically, if we count also what we call the operating fund that we got in 2017, CFI will cover 40% of the operation and maintenance costs from 2023 to 2029. So with this, we will be able to provide an access policy that will make it easier for most of the people in the scientific community, at large. So to get this funding and to basically expose our ID to the funding agency, we have developed a strategic plan for 2022 to 2027. And in this strategic plan, the first goal is to facilitate the access to the ALLS facility. So as I said already, LaserNetUS and Quebec funding already help us to do it. And now with the CFI MSI funding, we will be able to go one step further. And then there are two other goals, but I will skip them because of lack of time. And I really want to engage discussion with all of you. So the way we have convinced the CFI, because innovation is very important in Canada and for the federal government and the funding agencies, we said, look, high power lasers can impact the 5 key innovation sectors of Canada, which are information communication technologies, advanced manufacturing, health and life science, agriculture and environment, and natural resources and energy. If you look at the users of ALLS right now, most of them are doing research in physical chemistry, physical engineering, optics, photonics, material science, and condensed matter. What we want to do with this new access policy is to build a diverse user community. So we encourage all of you, when you think of proposals to be submitted at the facility, if you can involve people from other research fields, from biology to agronomy to arts, geology, this is the kind of proposal that we aim to receive. Of course, it's not strictly limited to this, but multi and interdisciplinary research is very important for the funding agency. So we encourage you to build proposals that bring those kind of teams at the facility. Well, in addition to this, and I want to thank a lot of people that, of course, I will not have time to thank all the people, but I want to say that there's been key people to organize this strategic plan and also the MSI proposal. And this has been possible through a governance and management structure. So just put my pointer. ALLS has now a strategic planning committee. I will tell you who are on this committee. We have a scientific and technology advisory board. And then in the management, we have the chief executive officer, who is automatically the director of the EMT Center of INRS, and the management team. And there's also a Beamtime Access Committee. So I will go into more into these. So the Strategic Planning Committee is co-chaired by Donna Strickland and Steve McLean from Infinite Potential Labs and University of Waterloo for Donna. And then there are other key people such as Majed Chergui, Mirwais Aktari, Marie-Christine Ferland, and so on. And you could see that it's a mixture of people from academic, industry, and we also have government representatives. And there's also members of INRS on this SPC. On the Scientific and Technology Advisory Board, we have 8 persons, and the staff is chaired by Félicie Albert from Lawrence Livermore National Lab. The management team of the facility consists of Marc Gauthier, who is the CEO of the infrastructure. He's the interim director of the EMT Center of INRS at the moment. I'm the scientific director, and I have complete support from 3 colleagues of mine, Sunil Kozaki, Patricio Antici, and Haida Ibrahim. And I really want to thank all of them. They have been of great support for the MSI, in addition of Donna, Steve, Paul Corkum, Félicie Albert, Amina Hussein. Many people help us. I'm probably forgetting people right now. I apologize, but it was really a team and a collective effort. I want to mention also that this will be further discussed in the coming months. We want to build a strong user group with the support of Amina Hussein and Mirwais Aktari, Mirwais representing industry. And we also want to build a theory group with the support of Laura Ramuno from University of Ottawa and François Fillon from Infinite Potential Labs to basically build a theory group that will first help to support experiments performed at the facility, but also propose new experiments to be performed at the facility with the primary goal of building a diverse user community. So in the coming weeks, there will be a call of proposals, and those proposals will be reviewed by a Beamtime Access Committee. We have 5 persons on this committee with different expertise. And I want to highlight that Tamima was also involved in the review process of the LaserNetUS proposal in the past. So she has great experience with this. So we have a fantastic team that will do the independent peer review of the proposal submit at the facility. So the users will be supported by a technical team composed of these persons. With the funding from the MSI, we will be able to hire at least 4 additional persons. So the users will have access to a team of 10 members to support the experiments when they come at the facility. So the Beamtime Allocation Committee or the Beamtime Access Committee will have clear criteria for the evaluation of the projects. The Canada Foundation for Innovation gives a lot of importance to the training of highly qualified personnel. So it will be mandatory for access to the reduced user fees to have students and postdocs involved. Then they will evaluate the potential for scientific merit. They will look at whether it could lead to the development of disruptive technologies. And we also want to have diverse teams. We want to have early career researchers leading projects, and we want to have projects addressing multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary research efforts. And at least 25% of the beam time will be given to projects led by early career researchers. So here is an overview of what we are going to do. So for example, if you look at the high power laser system of ALLS, the user fees for industry is currently $13,000 per week, and this will remain. The current academic user fees are $6,500. With the support of the CFI, those user fees will reduce to $1,625 per week, starting April 1st of next year. And then for the other laser system, it's the same ratio, $10,000 a week for industry, $5,000 currently, and it will be reduced to $1,250. So CFI, as I said, cover 40% of the cost. So the industrial user fees provides the matching that we need to get the funding from the CFI. So 25% of the beam time will be given to industrial-driven projects at the full fees, and then 3/4 of the beam time will be given at reduced user fees, including the weeks that are available through LaserNetUS. And then within this 3/4 of the beam time, 1/4 will be dedicated to projects led to early career researchers. So I just want to highlight what we have at the facility. If you have more questions, you're welcome to contact us. We have 2 main laser platforms, a lab for petawatt peak power laser science and application, and a lab for high average power lasers for imaging and controlling complex systems. We have 7 end stations, including a hard X-ray phase contrast imaging end station based on the Betatron beamline of ALLS, based on laser wake field electron acceleration, time resolved harpies, high energy protons, and so on. Want to highlight one of the user of ALLS that we have, thanks to the support of LaserNetUS, Amina Hussain from the University of Alberta. She used the laser wake field electron acceleration driven hard X-ray source for looking at pores inside alloys. And so she's using the hard X-rays from the facility to perform phase contrast imaging. So this is the kind of work that you can perform at the facility. And this is really great work because through this, Amina brings people from different community, mechanical engineers, material scientists, and of course, laser scientists as her. So it's really a diverse research team. With the funding that we got in 2017, we will offer high energy ytterbium laser system. You can see here the performance. And then we have a high repetition rate OPCPA system available now, installed in the lab and in operation. And this laser will be also available. Want to mention also that in 2017, when we got the CFI funding, we got investment money to invest in the end station for the characterization of quantum materials. So a time resolved harpies end station. We want to build a community that will use this end station. And if you are interested, you can contact my colleague, Fabio Boschini. He's been hired a few years ago by INRS. He's the expert on time resolve in using this kind of infrastructure. So if you have more questions, if you are interested by this, please contact him. And you can also contact me, but I will transfer to him. So the first call of proposals will be for 6 months. We understand that it's been so expensive for so many years to come at ALLS that people are not really aware. So we will first offer a block of 6 months, and then we'll do another call of proposal with the hope that there will be more submitted proposals. So the announcement of this call will be by the end of November. You see here the date. Deadline for submission mid of January. Then the evaluation will be performed and the users will be notified in March. And then in April or May of 2023, we will organize a kickoff ALLS MSI workshop. It will be near Montreal. You are all welcome to come. Dates will be announced soon, and daycare will be provided or can be provided. So thank you very much for your attention. I don't think I took all my time, and I welcome any questions from you.
Thank you very much, François. So François purposely left time for questions because, as he says, that maybe many of us across the country haven't been using ALLS because it was too expensive for us. So if you have questions, now's the time to ask. Jumping in. Okay, well, I'm going to ask a question because it's going to come up when Scott gives his talk. Scott, I think, is going to be talking to us about how to write a really good LaserNetUS proposal. Are the same going to apply? Do you think your Beam Time group or whatever it's called is going to use the same?
So I had discussion with Chandra about for sure, the idea will be to make the template of the proposals for ALLS having the same content than the LaserNetUS. So someone could submit a proposal to both LaserNetUS and us, and let's say they ask 4 weeks and LaserNetUS award 2-3 weeks, then the person could potentially get 2 additional weeks at a reduced user fee. So by the nature of the MSI, the CFI only covers 40% of the cost. So we cannot make the Beam Time free. We can make it reduced. So we will still have the path of going through LaserNetUS to have free access for a certain number of weeks per year, and then through the other way at a reduced user fee. And I will make sure to coordinate with LaserNetUS such that if you write a proposal for ALLS, within an hour, you can take all the information of your proposal, copy, paste in the other form, and submit.
Well, there's even more to it than that. It's that, we all have trouble writing all of these many grants, and the more they're similar, the easier it is and the less hurdle it is to write a good grant. So that if ours matches even one, if you write a LaserNet for one thing and here for another totally different project, it's still nice to see that the forms are going to be similar. So we're not constantly.
No, I mean, when I say probably the form, the difference will be the logo, the color, but like the content, like let's say, I don't remember, but let's say the abstract of LaserNetUS is 300 words. We'll make it also 300 words. We'll not make it 250 or 400 just to make people having to rewrite. So we will make the content of the proposal uniform. It's just the form might look like a bit different. For example, on the form to apply for Beam Time at ALLS, instead of, you will have to choose the laser system that you want to use. Which laser among all the lasers that we are offering that you need? Which end station do you need? So there will be some little details, but more or less same content, same requests, same length, the same.
Okay. So we have Emil up next and then Heidi.
Yes, thank you. Just very quick and a bit technical question. How do you define early career researcher?
My idea, but this could be discussed at the SPC because that's really the board that decides. I will say I will probably use the same definition as the federal government of Canada, the Canadian government, because at the end of the year, we have to make an annual report for the funding agency. So we have to use the definition that they used. So early career researcher will be the definition, most probably of the three agency of Canada, which I don't remember exactly. I think it's 10 years after PhD, but it takes into account if you have parental leave and things like this, or change of career. I don't know exactly the rules, but my idea was to use the definition of the three agency to make sure that CFI, when we do the annual report, that they recognize the beam time that we have provided to early career researchers.
But so it means that in any case, it should be independent researcher.
This is another thing that, I mean, I want to, in fact, we have discussion in December with CFI. And I know, for example, at the LaserNetUS, they encourage even postdocs to submit proposal. And for me, a postdoc is by definition an early career researcher. Would CFI recognize this as an early career researcher? I don't know. Of course, the danger with this is, let's say we say postdoc is recognized as early career, all the old PIs will ask their postdoc to submit proposal to get, so we have to be cautious, okay? At the end, I would love to see postdocs submitting proposal and really being the leading person of projects, but we need to build trust and confidence with the user community. Let's put it this way. But I will have a discussion with the CFI.
Thank you, François.
Okay, so Heide next, and then Samuel.
Yeah, I guess on this point, as soon as we define the PI as the last author, many things will be clear. But no, one thing I would like to add regarding the difference between the proposal of LaserNetUS and ALLS. So one thing that people also have to have in mind, and this is something we will also communicate very clearly, is about what is the status of the different beamlines we have ready for the moment of the proposal. So like what kind of development would be necessary from our side? Nothing. Would something need to be built? So this is something we have to clarify in order also to do the best evaluation on technical feasibility for the proposals. And by the time we send around the forms, we will make very clear what is available.
Great.
I suggest your internet was really bad. Rewrite what you said in the chat.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
I think we got most of it. At least I got most of it. But thank you, Heide. And Samuel?
Yeah, I think it was my question was kind of related to what Heide was getting at. Yeah, being new to everything in academia, I would just wonder how much downstream components we would be expected to bring to ALLS. So in terms of detectors and optics, and I think maybe having a some way to know that would be helpful when devising a proposal.
Yes, of course, it will be very difficult for us to provide the entire inventory of what we have. But my idea and my proposition will be that at the end of our proposal, we will ask a list of the key components that the user need. So for example, if you need a spectrometer with, I don't know, a certain spectral resolution working at 6 micron, we need to know. If you need a power meter, this I don't expect problem. So, but of course, there might be some users that wants to work with microwatt of average power and or detect microwatt. And typically we don't have power meters for microwatt. So that's why there will be a section where you have to describe the methodology, to describe the key components that you need, the key equipment. Then we will look within our inventory and we'll ensure like to establish a good contact with all the users to make sure that we understand what you need. And on top, in the form that the users will fill, we will ask the question, do you need full-time technical support, or do you just need access to the laser? Because we have users that are coming with everything they need. They just need a beam and they are independent. There are other users where you need an engineer or a technician the entire week with the students for them to do the experiment. So we need to know what kind of user you are, but we want to help. We want to build a diverse user community, so we will adapt to the users.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I encourage strongly that you submit proposals.
We have a couple minutes left. If anybody has another question before we go on to the next talk, or
I just want to mention, I've seen that Tsuneyuki Ozaki is here also, in addition of Fabio and Patricio Antici. Tsuneyuki is a great expert on terahertz and plasma harmonics. So you can contact him also if you have questions about doing experiments at the facility. You can contact Patricio. Of course, try to put me in CC and Haida so we can keep track of everything. But yes, don't hesitate to ask colleagues at INRS about what can be provided.
okay, so Elias has his last question, and maybe Francois, you could stop sharing. So when
Yes.
we switch over, we'll be ready to switch over.
Yeah, François, I've got just a little question. If, for example, for one beam time session, you've got 2 experiments that are in competition, what are the criteria that you're going to use to take one, either one or the other to perform a beam time at ALLS?
So as I said, one criteria that is mandatory is the training of people. Students and postdoc, or students or postdocs, have to be involved. This is mandatory because this is the main criteria of CFI. They care that we train people, okay? And then there's the scientific merit, there's the technological merit, there's also the diversity of the team. So there are multiple elements, and the Beam Time Access Committee will do an independent peer review. And they will decide, at the end, they will provide a ranking, and the ranking will define who gets beam time. Of course, someone could be ranked really high, but they ask 12 weeks of beam time. But it's not possible to provide 12 weeks. We need to accommodate the largest community possible. So yeah, there will be clear criteria, and it's the BTAC that will handle it. And then the feasibility of the experiment will be determined by the technical team, as well as the local PIs that are responsible of their machine. Patricio, for example, the ion beamline. If someone asks me, is this experiment feasible with the ion beamline? I will not answer. I'll ask Patricio whether it's feasible, or Sylvain Formeau, the people with expertise with the ion beamline.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much, Francois. I think it's
You're
time
welcome.
to go on. And so our second speaker